Todd McShay on the New Orleans Saints drafting Tyler Shough. Ladies and gentlemen, another day full of videos talking about the NFL draft, talking about the New Orleans Saints, and talking about the franchise quarterback Tyler Shough. Okay, so this video is Todd McShay's live reaction to the New Orleans Saints drafting Tyler Shough. Now, a little context here. Tyler Shough was Todd McShay's second quarterback on the board. Todd McShay was a big Tyler Shough guy, and we're going to watch the live reaction, and then we're also going to talk about McShay's kind of pre-draft analysis or profile of Tyler Shough.
Oh! We'll get back to you, Bears fans. You're on the clock next. The mock draft, the mock top 10, the flash mock. We called it. And I had a feeling. This was all along a Kellen Moore, New Orleans Saints. It was Jackson Dart, Tyler Shough. It was not a Shedeur Sanders team.
Yeah, I think the closer it got to the actual draft, the more it was obvious that it was either going to be Jackson Dart, if the Saints could move around and get there, or Tyler Shough.
Because of Kellen Moore and what he's looking for in that position. Hey, I'm an undersized quarterback who didn't have the greatest arm and wasn't overly mobile. That's why I was a walk-on at Richmond. And while we have a great appreciation for our kind, we have a fascination with guys like Tyler Shough. Okay? Guys that can put the ball in places that we couldn't put it. Guys that can run and get out of trouble the way we couldn't. Guys that are tall enough to see the field and don't have to struggle behind 6'4", 6'5" offensive linemen. And that is exactly what Kellen Moore has had. I've been saying this for 2 months now, it feels like. The Kellen Moore is going to be a Jackson Dart guy or a Tyler Shough guy. He's not going to be a Shedeur Sanders guy.
Yeah, Shough is kind of a throwback physically. If you look at how quarterbacks, there was a run there where every quarterback was 6'4", 6'5", kind of athletic, kind of spindly, and a live arm. Go back and look at the Jared Goffs of the world, the Ryan Tannehills of the world. It's all that 6'4", 6'5", athletic, spindly, live arm. Then you kind of morphed into the Paxton Lynch, Brock Osweiler world, where all of a sudden they're 6'7". That didn't work out as good. But when you look at Spencer Rattler, he's 6 foot, right? Cam Ward is 6 foot. Now, these guys are way different. So Tyler Shough, physically, the actual build is a little bit more of that Justin Herbert type player.
And now the Shedeur Sanders watch is on, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But the point is now, Tyler Shough with Kellen Moore, 3 stops as offensive coordinator before becoming the head coach. And he obviously did a damn good job at all 3 of those stops.
Yeah.
And they were with
Kellen
who?
Moore.
Dak Prescott in Dallas, Justin Herbert out in L.A.,
Yep.
and Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. More mobile, sturdy build, stronger arm guys. Tyler Shough, you ready? I've been waiting to talk about this young man since we talked to him at the Combine.
Yeah, so there's a video out there of McShay. He sits down with Shough and does a 30-minute interview. And it really shows you everybody points to that. Everybody points to Shough at the Senior Bowl, Shough at the Combine, Shough at his pro day. And what's everyone pointing to with some of these other guys? Didn't go to the Combine, didn't do a pro day, didn't work out, didn't do this, didn't do interviews. It kind of shows you teams value that. And Tyler Shough really took advantage of that. Had a great pro day, or had a great Combine, ran a 4.6, is interviewed well, was mature, was a leader, was all of that. And it slung him up the draft boards. And McShay, I saw another video where he was talking about the interview. And he loves Tyler Shough as a person. And let me say this. I'm going to say this in probably every video for the next 4 days. If you are attacking Tyler Shough because the Saints didn't take blank player, or you don't like the pick or whatever, and you're hoping Tyler Shough fails, and you're rooting against him, and you're in his DMs, and you're commenting on his Instagram, you got to get a life. Okay, that is some drooling on your bib, drooling all over your keyboard, baby activity. All right, it's one thing to do some memes. It's one thing to have a goof and a gaff. It is what it is. It is football. We do have fun around here, but flat out rooting against the guy, flat out, calling him names or whatever in his own DMs. Guys, come on. Let's get it together, okay? Let's get it together. Moral of the story is he is the franchise quarterback of the Saints. You got to root for him. If you're a Saints fan, root for him. I wish him the best. I love him like a brother. If I saw Tyler Shough tomorrow, I'd buy him a beer, okay?
And the reason we talked to him at the Combine is I loved his story, and I wanted to get to know him a little bit more, and I'm so glad I did. He's 25, turning 26. He's had durability issues. Those were the knocks. That's why he's in the second round. Turns 26 years old, first month of the NFL season. 3 season-ending injuries. Tyler Shough, when he first came out, was in Trevor Lawrence's class.
Tyler Shough is such an interesting story because when he comes out, he is in Trevor Lawrence's class. He ends up as the backup quarterback at Oregon to Justin Herbert, okay? Stud. When he first plays at Oregon, people are looking at him as a first-round pick. Like, I've done so much Tyler Shough research in the last 24 hours. He was like top 5 on some like early mock draft boards as far as like the, 2 years too early mock drafts. Then he gets injured. Then COVID happens. Then he gets injured. Then he gets injured. All this stuff happens. Never really gets to put it together. Finally puts together a season. The physical stuff is still there, but that made him an early top 5, top 10, first round type talent. But now it's like, okay, you have to marry that with the injuries. But the injuries aren't really the injuries you should be concerned about. The injuries aren't like ACL, ligaments, soft tissue. It's broken collarbones and broken fibulas. And, it's like, that's not something that lingers. Like, you don't just have, you don't always just have collarbone issues. All right. Now you could argue like, hey man, drink a glass of milk. Like maybe there's some fragility there in the bones. I don't know. But weird injuries. Right. And then you have the age thing where, yeah, the age is absolutely a concern. It is a question mark. How fast do you have to get him on the field? How fast do you have to develop him? How fast does he have to be NFL ready? And in the same situation, it's basically week 1 from how I see it. So it's this insane. But as a player, as a physical player, you can make an argument he's the best player in the draft. Or not the best player, best quarterback in the draft. Because I'll put it to you like this. Think about every quarterback in this draft class. Okay, think about Shedeur Sanders. Think about Cam Ward. Think about whoever. They all kind of have a question mark, whether it's their physical attributes, whether it's their size, whether it's their, whatever. Tyler Shough is the only player in this draft, the only quarterback, that you can point at and say, well, if nothing else, he does have an NFL arm. If nothing else, we know he has the actual physical trait to play the position. He has the arm. If we strip everything else away, he's 6'5", and he's got an NFL arm. Now, it's not Josh Allen's arm, okay? Don't get that twisted. We're not talking about like he's throwing it through a brick wall. But he has an NFL arm. I would assume the strongest arm in the class by a wide margin. So, and you could say Jalen Milroe as far as like a deep ball, but obviously Milroe, then you start throwing in the accuracy and stuff like that. But, and I think that's what the Saints are relying on here with this pick. They're relying on, you know what? We're removing the noise, and we got a guy who we know exactly what is attached to that shoulder. And we know exactly that trait. And if that's the one thing you know with a quarterback prospect, okay.
Think about how long Lawrence has been in the NFL. He was the backup.
You know what else is kind of crazy about the age thing? Like, I don't want to make a big deal about it, but it is crazy every time you look at it. Like Josh Allen, right? Josh Allen was 21 when he was drafted. Like Peyton Manning was 22 his rookie year. It is crazy the difference in age of these of all these players.
To the man I just mentioned, he was the backup to Kellen Moore's guy out in L.A., Justin Herbert. So he's been through it, guys. Guys and girls, he has been through it. Look at this graphic. Thanks for throwing this up, Tucker. This was what everyone was worried about in the league. It's not necessarily the injuries. They were all bone breaks. It's not necessarily the age. It's the one season as a starter, okay? So we're bringing in a guy who is older, who only has one season as a starter. Cam Ward, 57 starts, 5 seasons.
I mean, and this is another like anomaly where he is older. He is experienced. He played 7 seasons. He did this. NFL ready, mature. But he's the least experienced starter in this conversation. You know, like I did some work on a comp for Tyler Shough, which is Ryan Tannehill. When Tannehill came out, a big question mark on him was that he didn't really play quarterback that much. You know, Ryan Tannehill was a wide receiver who moved to quarterback. I don't know if you knew that, but I want to say Ryan Tannehill had like 19 starts at quarterback when he was drafted. And everyone was like, yeah, you know, that's not very many. Tyler Shough only has 24. You know, like you look at Shedeur, you look at Jackson Dart, you look at Jalen Milroe even, you look at Cam Ward. Like, it's almost, it's one thing to play in the games. Like Shuck played, I think, 42 games. But you look at the start number, how do you, like that is where it's the ultimate puzzle. It's the ultimate conundrum. It's the ultimate like brain breaker, where he is on one hand incredibly experienced, went through all these systems, all these coaches. You know, he's had this journey and you know all this, and you're getting this guy, and he's NFL ready. I keep hearing that he's NFL ready, but then you see this, and it's like, is he? Because this makes it seem like he would be the least NFL ready, right? Because of the lack of starts and only one full season. It's every time I look at this, every time I break it down, or every time I listen to something or read something, it's more of a puzzle, and it's more of a riddle of Tyler Shough.
Shedeur Sanders, 4 seasons, 50 starts. Dart, 38 starts. Milroe, 27 starts, 4 seasons. Shuck in 7 seasons only had 24 starts.
Crazy.
But you get to know this young man, and it's not just me. I didn't just like fall in love with the guy and what he's been through. Everyone in the league I talked to had an appreciation. So much of being a quarterback and being dropped in this room with veterans and having to get into a huddle and go into a meeting room with offensive linemen and big dudes who are 30, 33 years old, grown-ass men, families, mouths to feed, all of it. You got to know who you are. You got to know who you are as a quarterback. And you got to, in order to find out who you are, I think a lot of people who are of age can kind of, I don't want to say sympathize with this, but they can understand this concept. You got to go through things in life to figure out who you are. And this man was carted off the field, one of the 3 season-ending injuries, and thought he would never play a down of football again. He thought football was taken away from him. He was one of the Elite 11 guys. He was up there like the same ranking as or just shy of Trevor Lawrence. He got his pick of all these different schools. Remember, this is when Oregon was blowing up. They had Justin Herbert, Mario Cristobal, okay? So he goes there. It doesn't work out. He winds up getting injured, right? Cristobal leaves. He transfers to Texas Tech, starts the season, gets injured, starts the next season, broken left fibula. Doesn't work out at Texas Tech. The Brohms call. Jeff and Brian Brohm are 2 of the coaches in college football. There's a handful of them, but 2 of the coaches that really know how to develop quarterbacks. They got their hands on Tyler for a year, and he took off. Outstanding. Look, let's look at the traits. Biggest.
Now that's another question. Is that if Tyler Shough would have stayed healthy at any of the other time, would he be a top 5 pick, top 10 pick? That's the great unknown. The great unknown is, okay, he had 1 year of being a starter, 1 full year, and he takes off. So it's like, what would he have done if it wasn't for the injuries? You know, and you have to factor that in as well. And especially especially the quarterback position, because there is something too, you know, it's like, and this is something I was laying in bed last night, probably 2, 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I was just on all these different, you know, football sites, just breaking everything down. And my thought was like, well, what if Spencer Rattler beats him out? Or what if he beats out Spencer Rattler? Like, what do we do then? But then it's kind of like, well, that's the best case scenario. Best case scenario is you get two guys, put them in a cage, one comes out, right? But the one that comes out is going to be, you would think, pretty damn good. And they're very similar players, even though one is 6'5", one is 6 foot. Very similar players. All right, so if one of those two work out, everything else kind of goes away. And all of the age and all of the, the car stuff and the 40th overall pick and what about Will Johnson or what about Ezeruku and what about Trey Amos or what about Jack Beck or what about whoever, all that goes away. If one of them works out, you got to have your quarterback in the NFL. We got a room of Doug Nussmeier, Scott Tolzien, and Kellen Moore who are telling me that this guy has it. Who the hell am I to say, nah, y'all are wrong? Who the hell am I to say, nah, screw this one up, fellas? There is some trust in this. And that's another thing, too. Like, it's okay. It's okay to question this pick. It is okay to question what you're seeing and who was around him at 40. And could you have done this later? And whatever. It's totally fine to question that. You don't have to just say, you know what? All right, Tyler Shough jersey ordered. But that's a big difference in questioning it and wondering why and looking for the answers and raising some concerns and then, being just a drooling, slobbering baby. Getting in his Instagram DMs and or his comment section or whatever. And we're going to raise the questions and we're raising the concerns and we're going to do our damnedest to find the answers. And if that takes me watching every single one of his snaps at Louisville, I will. I will happily watch every single game. I will buy a sleeping bag and I will live on this guy's front yard if he allows me to. I'm there. If Tyler Shough wants me to, I'll live in a corner of his apartment. Like a house cat. I'll just walk around, I'm okay. I'm fine with that. But I'm going to figure this out.
And fastest of the top 4 quarterbacks. Ball placement is really good from the pocket and off script. And this guy flicks his wrist. It's like, and the energy coming off this ball. He's also, as I just told you, the backstory, most mature.
I don't know what this Miami tight end thing is here. I don't think he's 250 either. I'm pretty sure Tyler Shough's like 6'5", 220. I don't think he's 6'5", 250. I don't think that's correct.
Battle tested in the class. Yes, the age, durability. He can be a little streaky. He's got some stuff to work out in the red zone with his issues. But what better spot? New Orleans.
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about that either. I mean, he can fly. I've heard some people who are like, when did 4'6" become fast? What? He's 6'5". He's a quarterback. 4'6" is absolutely hauling ass. No, it's not Lamar Jackson. No, it's not Taysom Hill. That's a little bit of a different situation. But he can fly. And like Spencer Rattler, I mean, he ran like a 540. And Spencer Rattler can move. He's pretty athletic. He can move around too.
With Kellen Moore. I don't know, man. This guy might be starting week 1. I'm telling you.
He has to.
I said back in January after we met with him, I think he's the most NFL ready of the quarterbacks. And he's probably the second most gifted behind Cam Ward. And you combine those two things, he just hasn't had the starts.
Yeah.
He hasn't had the opportunity. But he was ranked that high with Trevor Lawrence, supposed to be Justin Herbert's heir apparent. Had an awesome year this year, carried Louisville. 6'5", 219 pounds, ran a 4.63.
219.
He's different. And you're going to get, Saints fans, you're going to get to know this young man. And you're going to see there's some magic in his game. There's some maturity between his ears and in his soul, if you will. I think he's got a chance with the Derek Carr situation's ugly. There's some stuff that, like, I'm not a reporter. You can get it from other places. Like that thing's tricky. I don't know how that's going to end.
I do. Derek Carr will not be the starting quarterback in the New Orleans Saints.
And you look at that. I mean, traits-wise, it's not even close with Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler was a 5th-round pick for a reason. Tyler.
You know what's kind of crazy is that the Spencer Rattler stuff, Rattler and Shuck remind me a lot of each other. Their journeys, who they are, their traits, all of that. Rattler's not 6'5". Like, that is obviously a big difference. He does run a 4.6. But it is kind of interesting when you compare them with each other.
Shuck, with just 1 full year as a starting quarterback, is now the 40th overall pick in this draft for a reason.
Yeah, for sure.
I promise you this. He had another season at Louisville, and he didn't have the 3 injuries, and he wasn't 26. We would have been talking about, where's he going, Cleveland?
That's the weird thing, right? It's like you take away the age, take away the injuries, give him another season of starts. He's probably a top 5 pick. But he does have the injuries. He is 26, and he doesn't have the year of starts. You know, it's like this weird meshing of, I see it. Like, I see what's going on. I see the traits. I see the 6'5". I see the 4.6. All right? But all the stuff that McShay just took away, I also see that too. And that's where we are. You can obviously see, like, yeah, this guy has the makings of a top 5 pick. This guy has the makings of a, not generational, but he has the makings of a franchise quarterback prospect. But he's also got the warts. And unlike a lot of situations of ours, if you've ever been to spring break in Panama City, you can't just go to Walgreens, drink a disgusting little concoction and get rid of those warts. What the hell am I talking about?
Is Cleveland going to pass on him? Is he going to go? Is it one spot down? Is it the Giants? Is he going with Brian Daboll? Now he goes 40 overall. I love that pick. I love that pick for New Orleans, and most importantly, I love that pick for Tyler Shough.
Okay, there you go. But this went long, so we're not going to watch the other thing. I was going to show you all an interview McShay did with Rich Eisen like 2 months ago, so I'm not going to worry about it. This has already gotten way too long. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. I love it, man. I mean, I just gave myself goosebumps, and I didn't even say anything. But this is what it's all about. Like, this is what it is all about. This is what you got to live for. You got to live for breaking down the quarterback, breaking down the franchise, breaking down the future of the team. Thank you, God. We're not talking about Garrett Grayson or Ian Book or who the hell ever. Jake Haener. This is a guy with some legitimate traits. Take away some of those warts up there at CVS. Go to confession, whatever. The hell am I talking about? Take away some of those warts, and he's a top 5 type guy. In 2 months, not 2 months, in 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, we're sitting here, and he's spinning the pill, and he looks like the next Justin Herbert or Jared Goff or whatever. Justin Herbert's not a bad comp. I don't know if he's got Justin Herbert's arm, per se, but then again, take that down a little bit. If that's what the Saints have for the next 4, 5, 6 years, feel pretty good, all right? So we got to give this guy some time. He is the pick. Slobbering all over your keyboard and drooling all over yourself isn't going to make the pick magically turn into something else. So he is the guy. And him and Rattler will battle it out. Hell in the Cell, ladder match. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. We'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. But I can promise you this, we'll be here for every single second of it. All right. Happy Sunday. I will see you in the next video.